My name is Andrew. I'm 35. And if someone had told me a couple of years ago that the biggest challenge in a relationship isn't jealousy, money, or daily routines, but simply the ability to talk and truly listen, I would have laughed. I always considered myself a good communicator, especially since at work, I'm a project engineer. I have to negotiate, explain, and convince people every day. But I learned that in personal life, communication is a different art, and I realized this far too late. I met Laura at a friend's birthday party. She was 29 then, full of energy, laughing loudly, debating passionately, and from the first minute, I knew life wouldn't be boring with her. Within a few weeks, we were walking around the city at night, talking about books, movies, and dreams. I loved how she asked unexpected questions, how she listened, and how she wasn't afraid to share her big plans. After a year, we decided to move in together. I thought everything was perfect. We had so much in common, cooked dinners together, spent weekends cycling along the river. I believed communication was our strong side because we always talked. But now I understand. Talking and understanding are not the same thing. The first warning signs appeared quietly. She would say, "You're not listening to me," and I would get defensive, repeating word for word what she had just said to prove I remembered. But listening isn't about memorizing words. It's about catching the feelings behind them. And I wasn't hearing her emotions. I was treating her words like bullet points in a report. Once, Laura confessed she was exhausted at work and felt like a cog in a machine. I instantly started suggesting solutions. Maybe take a course, maybe try freelancing. But she grew quiet and said, "Andrew, I didn't ask for advice. I just wanted you to understand how hard this feels." I brushed it off then, a mistake I didn't realize until much later. These little misunderstandings piled up. She began sharing less with me, spending more evenings with her friend Sarah, or staying late at work. I withdrew into myself too, burying my stress in the gym and in projects, convincing myself we were just going through a tired phase. But in reality, we were slowly drifting apart. The breaking point came one evening. We were having dinner, and I casually said, "You stayed late at work again," not realizing my tone sounded like an accusation. She put her fork down, looked at me with a kind of weary honesty, and said, "Andrew, I'm tired. It feels like we talk, but never hear each other. I tell you my feelings, and you treat them like problems to fix. I don't feel like I can be vulnerable with you." Those words hit harder than any argument ever could. I realized that unless I learned to truly hear her, I could lose the person I loved most. For the first time in a long time, I asked her what she needed, and then I stayed silent. She spoke for a long time about her fears, about craving emotional closeness, about sometimes feeling lonely, even while sitting right next to me. The next day, I suggested a small experiment. Every evening we would spend 15 minutes where one of us talks and the other doesn't interrupt, doesn't give advice, doesn't defend, just listens and then reflects back the emotions they heard. At first it felt awkward, but soon we started uncovering